Cloud. Hi, so I'm running this episode mainly to congratulate Daryn Flynn on recently passing his PSP. So Daryn, congratulations. Thank you for taking time to talk to me about this. But tell me why you chose PSP as the qualification for you.
So this probably started a journey several years ago, based on the experience that I was having when you talk to large organizations and new organizations in the field that I work in, as a key account manager at NEDAP, kind of focused on physical access control and integrated technologies and these kind of topics, that really the conversations that we were having are levels above just deploying technology. They're much more strategic. They're about business objectives. And also, to be relevant, you need to be able to engage on that higher level with stakeholders who operate in those different kind of parts of the organization. And it's one thing to be able to respond to those stakeholders. It's another thing to be able to kind of step into that world and actually lead some of the conversations. And if you want to do that, I think two things. One, you need to understand the domain that you're going to talk about that perhaps is just outside of your own specialism. And if you're going to start that conversation new, I felt that it was helpful to actually have some kind of stamp to say, this guy does know something about this topic, or at least a level of understanding of this. And although I'm experienced within this sector, I didn't have something like that. So having had a look at ASIS and various sets of different certifications, the PSP, because it is about physical security, and that's the area that I work in, was the closest match. And when you dig into the topics that are covered in the domains of the PSP, those were the areas that I really needed to invest my time in and understand far better than I did. And if I could get that, I think it would, on a professional level, help me to get to those conversations that I was having.
Absolutely hear you. And having the PSP, exactly the same journey for me, completely was on the same path, although I was the customer, if you like, but I wanted to be able to enter the room as well and know that I felt that I had relevance. So yeah, got you. Interestingly, when we go on these journeys, people and we seek advice. So what advice were you given about this?
So again, within the kind of ASIS community, I asked a few people who either have the qualification and some who didn't, just to ask their views about why have you kind of been a part of the ASIS but not got any certification, or what was it like to get to the point where you are. I have one colleague within NEDAP who previously done CPP, and he'd said that was quite a tough undertaking, and actually in the end he also did the PSP at the same time that I did. But the general kind of feedback, the advice that I received was, yes, it's very worthwhile to have, and it really kind of validated what I was, what I was looking for, what I was expecting, that it gives you that level of professional acknowledgement. But there was also, I'll be honest, people said it's not something that you're just going to be able to tick some boxes. It needs investment. So. And that was good advice, because I did find that was the case.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you now, looking back, what advice would you now give yourself if you were asked those questions?
Yeah, that's always a good question to ask. And I would now kind of go back and knowing the kind of personal investment, that I would just give myself that kind of input to say, there is no quick way around this. You do need to get the full justification, the reward of achieving this certification. There is a lot of material to read, learn, understand, and although it is time consuming and sometimes challenging, it is 100% worthwhile. I think I would also tell myself, don't do it in isolation, because I did the PSP along with a team of colleagues. And that was massively beneficial, because there are times you get to a topic and perhaps you're finding it a little bit harder. and to just be able to kind of relay that, but kind of bounce off some colleagues and support each other. You know, we had a lot of fun doing this PSP, keeping it going and going along together. So that would be the advice I'd give to myself or to anybody, to be aware of the investment of time. There's no way around it. Read and then reread, and do it with some colleagues.
You know, you make a really solid point. I've just reflected. I did both of mine with groups of people,
yeah.
And you're absolutely right. In reflection, there are sections where you just want to bounce the idea and the logic and the concept, because I'm somebody that if I can see it and I can visualize it, it will sit with me. And just being able to talk it through with somebody really can solidify that learning. So yeah.
I think the peer support was really good.
Yeah.
The peer pressure is also really good.
Well, we'll get on to that, because now you've passed, and you know, I'm sure you're going to tell us how that felt, and now, you know, what was going through your mind, you know, the Prometric process. Talk me through those thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Prometric thing, I mean, we did because of COVID, we were limited by the approach that we could take. So everyone did it from home remotely. And I've got to say, it was very, very thorough. The way in which Prometric lines it up and checks and makes sure everything is as you'd expect for a very serious exam. That was very good. The process of doing the exam, I'll be honest, it was quite tense. Some of the questions were not as you expect them. You really do have to think. And at the end, I'll tell you that I was not confident. I was sure of my answers and that I'd done the appropriate amount of investment for this, but I couldn't confidently say at the end that I knew I had passed that exam. But it gave you the result very, very quickly. And I was thrilled to get the positive and say that I passed this thing. I won't reenact exactly what happened in front of a camera, but it was like winning a serious trophy or something. It was a massive feeling of reward. And I was massively happy, and still smiling even today. And we're like 5 days after. So and I think I will carry that with me, because it was not hard, not easy, because it did take that personal investment. But you genuinely feel you have earned this accreditation, and now I am now recognised on the same level as you good self and anybody else who has the PSP, and I fully understand what you guys have gone through. So no, brilliant feeling and really worthwhile.
Oh, well, when you tell the story, it evokes and triggers the emotions and the memories of passing both of those qualifications for me. And I know exactly what you're meaning about how you absolutely feel and you think the minute that flashes up, so I'll conclude the interview and just say again, congratulations, well done, and I'm sure you'll be a massive supporter for anybody else going through this, because I do completely celebrate anybody that has gone through this journey, because it is, as you say, an investment of your energy, your time, the commitment, especially if you've got family or you're caring. It impacts on your weekends and your evenings, and you're living and breathing it for a certain period of time. So congratulations, well done. And thanks for giving me your story and your journey.
You're welcome.